Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Our AHS officer was taking pictures. I did have him leave the property boundaries before he took photos. Go off the property. Thank you.
Get out of here. I've got everything I need anyway.
And they let us know they'll be back Monday with their evidence, and we'll deal with them then. We want to get back to enjoying the practices, enjoying the sport, letting kids visit with other kids, letting families hang out with their moto families and watch their kids out on the track being healthy.
There's a lot of rules that haven't made sense. We've had to put our blind faith in Dr. Hinshaw and her team, and of course our politicians. And as a person, I look at it and I can't understand it.
You're a motocross parent. Like, you're used to weighing risk versus reward versus fun, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, you're getting out there and, risking your bones. And even worse, possibly, because you're on a dirt bike. But yeah, like, my kids have been dirt biking for 5 years now, and there's definitely a lot more risk in generally, like, being out there on the track than anything else, I would think.
Sheila, Gunn, Reid for Rebel News here at Coal Trail Motocross Park. Yeah, this is one of those Rebel assignments where I stop and reflect on just how lucky I am to have this job, because I love motocross, particularly little kids motocross, like the really, really little ones. It's one of my favorite things ever, little kids on dirt bikes. Now, Coal Trail Motocross is just south of Hardisty, Alberta, the east central Alberta town that's home to the tank farm for the now canceled by Joe Biden Keystone XL pipeline. This is a deeply conservative area. Now, owner of the motocross park here, Klassen, and her husband Kelly have decided that enough is enough, and they've closely examined the rules surrounding amateur sports and the enforcement of those rules by Alberta Health Services. And get this, kids' sports can be open for practice, but not competition. So if you keep track of winners and losers, somehow the coronavirus is going to get you and kill you. But if everybody gets a participation ribbon, or if you call it a practice, apparently the coronavirus knows all of that and will leave you alone. It looks like it's a busy weekend here at Coal Trail. Emily tells me that there are 300 different entries here, and there are spectators here from as far away as Edmonton and Calgary. I don't know if police will consider this an illegal gathering of more than 10 people outdoors, as are the current rules here in Alberta regarding the lockdown. I did see 2 RCMP cars when I turned off the main road, and a third car was there with what looks to be an Alberta Health Services inspector in it. If those guys plan on busting up this completely outdoor event, I think they're going to have their work cut out for them. So I'm going to talk to Emily and Kelly and some of the participants and spectators and see what they have to say about the lockdown on motocross and I guess on amateur sport in general. Before I go on, though, I should tell you that if you are looking to engage in possibly questionably lawful motorsports activities when the weather in Alberta can take a turn for the unpleasant at any moment, might I suggest heading over to the Rebel News store at rebelnewsstore.com and picking up one of these really great hoodies. Mine says Rebel because, well, what's happening here is definitely an act of rebellion, and I could not be happier about it. And this hoodie, it goes right under your favorite ripped up plaid lumber jacket that now smells like the perfume of two-stroke smoke. What an Alberta job I have here today. Anyway, let's go check it out. So Emily and Kelly, you guys own Coal Trail Motorsports Park here. And I guess what you're doing here is somewhat defiant of the lockdown. Explain what limitations that are placed on you to hold this event here.
So we are open for riding, for practice. We're able to run ride schools. We had a race booked for the weekend. Racing is not permitted, so we're open for practice. We're practicing racing. We want to get riders out, families out, people out, seeing each other, the fresh air, just out in the out in the open on your bike, being active. Motocross is one of the most enduring physical sports there is. And there's no healthier thing to be doing than working out, being outdoors, vitamin D, sunshine, enjoying it with your family.
Now, Kelly, Emily drove home the point that this is a practice, because that's one of the most ridiculous parts of the rules placed on you guys here, is that you can practice, but you can't compete.
Yeah, that's correct.
We read it as long as you identify as non-competitive, then you can practice and then you're not competing.
Is it time for kids' sports to return to normal? Obviously, I think you think that because you're here, right?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
There's a lot of rules that haven't made sense. We've had to put our blind faith in Dr. Hinshaw and her team, and of course our politicians. And as a person, I look at it and I can't understand it.
This can only be a practice. It can't be a competition, because I guess somehow COVID knows if you're keeping track.
That's a joke. You go Walmart, you're way more close to people. So, no, there's nothing wrong with this. Everybody's spaced out and they're having fun.
Yeah, the kids, they're wearing full face masks.
Yeah. They're not even close to each other out there. No, it's all good.
So we just try to respect as much as we can, but after all this time, the kids have to get out. We need them doing things, and there's lots of space here, so I don't understand why this couldn't be a race instead of just a practice.
So, when AHS popped by, Thor let us know that anyone here, we understand they're riders, because we're welcome to have riders out. If they're not riding, we can't enforce that. So if you're sitting on the stands between your motos, if you're spectating, if you're watching your kids on the track, making sure they're not getting hurt, you can't sit in your vehicle all day. So he let us know that riders need to sit in their vehicles if they're not on the track. And that is just ridiculous. As a parent with 4 children who race and ride throughout the year and my husband, you can't sit in your vehicle when your kid is on the track. We have medics here, but you want to be the first one out there if you're able to pick your kid up and make sure they're okay.
And those are the same sort of stupid rules that they apply at the hockey rink. So you can drop your kids off for practice, but then you have to go away somewhere. These kids that live in your house with you and you see all the time, you wash their clothes and clean up after them, somehow it's dangerous for you to be watching them in the stands. It's outrageous, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Does that make any sense to you?
Absolutely not. The kids need their activity. They need their sports. And I think that what we're doing here, even if this was not practice, but it was a racing event, this is way safer than going to Walmart. This is way safer than having them in school. Right here, we're outside, we're having a good time. There's plenty of space for everybody. And it has no logic for the government to shut down a racing event, but not a practice event.
It's very interesting to look around. There's spacing. This is a sport where there is no physical contact, and they're helmeted, they're masked, and outdoors we know is safer from all the experts. When we know outdoors is safe. So in the stands, if people stay in their cohorts, as somebody who doesn't study this professionally, I would feel it's safe. And as a human being, I feel it's safe, and I am concerned for my own safety during COVID. But I think a place like this has done it right.
Now, is it time to end the lockdown on kids' sports?
100%. That's not fair. 100%. These kids need something to do. They're not allowed to play hockey. They're not allowed to do anything. But I feel that going to sit in school or take them to the, to the mall or Walmart or something is totally fine. I think it's a bit horse actually. Excuse my French.
So before I got here, I think I missed a little bit of the action, but I was able to put together a little bit of sort of what happened on my way here, because I saw that 2 RCMP cars and an Alberta Health Inspector, they are sitting sort of across the secondary road waiting. I don't know what they think they're going to do. They're going to bust this thing up or what?
Well, we don't really know, because I checked with the RCP when they came in, and they're from the Killam detachment. So our house was actually burned down in an arson fire a year and a half ago, and the Killam detachment was to respond to it. And the night the arson investigator asked Killam detachment to come out and talk with him, they were too busy chasing cattle to come deal with an arson, which would have, it was easily considered attempted murder with the fires lit outside the exits. So I don't put a lot of weight into them showing up to tell me we can't practice when they didn't take the safety of my family very seriously. So they showed up. We asked them to remove themselves from private property because from our understanding, as of midnight last night, the powers of the Emergency Health Act were over, so they need a warrant to be on private property. Our AHS officer was taking pictures. I did have him leave the property boundaries before he took photos. So off the property. Thank you.
Get out of here. I've got everything I need anyway.
And they let us know they'll be back Monday with their evidence, and we'll deal with them then. We want to get back to enjoying the practices, enjoying the sport, letting kids visit with other kids, letting families hang out with their moto families and watch their kids out on the track being healthy.
Yeah, this is a lot better than sitting at home watching your kids play video games of dirt biking, right?
Oh, absolutely. Our younger children who still live at home do not have screens.
Yeah.
They are outside. Summer, you're gardening. Winter, it's Lego, books. You play. You learn through play. I'm a huge advocate of learning through play and being outside.
Do you have a message for politicians with regard to kids sports?
I think that they should just let it be how it's going to be. Like, I've noticed I have 3 boys, and it's definitely affecting their mental health and their friends' mental health and stuff like that, especially like with hockey. I noticed that's where it started, and now with this, like, thank goodness that they're actually running this, because, you know, it gets them out and gets them like out and about and going, and realizing that, you know, we don't have to be scared just because somebody says that something, you know, might kill you.
But the police are still surveilling here.
Today, I thought they left.
They're across the road up there.
Whatever, hopefully they stay away, because hate to wreck this nice day.
She could get in potentially some pretty serious trouble. Emily, the owner here, for holding this event. The RCMP were here earlier. What do you think about that?
I think there's a lot of good people in this province that'll help her out and stand behind her. So I don't think she's got much to worry about.
I think it's BS for the kids to have to be stuck at home and not allowed to be with their friends.
And you're a motocross parent. Like, you're used to weighing risk versus reward versus fun, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, you know, you're getting out there and, you know, risking your bones. And even worse, possibly, because you're on a dirt bike. But yeah, like, my kids have been dirt biking for 5 years now, and there's definitely a lot more risk in generally, like, being out there on the track than anything else, I would think.
Well, Emily and Kelly, if the RCMP come back and give you guys a ticket, I don't want you to worry about it. I want you to plead not guilty. Send it to us at fightthefines.com. We'll put you in touch with the best criminal litigator, and we'll fight that ticket in court, because I think you're doing something great here for families, getting them out, getting them back together. I mean, these kids missed a whole season of motorsports, and it's about time we get back to normal. And if we can have 1,000 people in a Costco today, surely we can have some kids out on the dirt bike track.
We absolutely agree. We respect people's choices to make their own choices for their family and their health. And if that means us opening our gates and helping people practice in a safe manner with our medics and our volunteers and people organizing the classes, that's what we'll do. And we appreciate the support. The response has been overwhelming. We didn't know if we should post that we had been put on notice, and we figured it would be better to let people know before they come out and get caught off guard. And I have not had a break since we put that post up. It has been nonstop. I finally climbed in the tub, and we had trailers pulling in Thursday night. So it has been amazing, the response we've had.
Well, it's great. I'm really happy that you guys are doing this. I hope the police leave you alone. I suspect they won't, but if they do, don't worry. We'll help, and you guys just keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming out.
Well, what a completely fun day. I'm really dirty. I'm dusty. I smell like exhaust fumes, but as you know, I come from a very blue-collar oil patch Alberta family. So that smell is also the scent of romance in my household. Am I right, oil patch wives, or am I right? Now, I met some really great normal people today doing a completely normal thing. Spending time outside, getting fresh air with like-minded people, participating in a sport that they love with their children. It's like the before times here. I think it's a disgrace that the organizers of the event and owners of Coal Trail Motocross Park Kelly and Emily Klassen could be subject to serious lockdown fines for hosting this event. When it's perfectly okay to go to a Walmart with 500 other strangers to buy a motocross video game so that you can go back to your house and enjoy a sedentary lifestyle in front of the Xbox alone. But you heard it here, if Kelly or Emily get in trouble for hosting this event, where absolutely nobody is here against their will, we'll help them fight their lockdown ticket in court at no cost to them through FightTheFines.com. And every Fight the Fines donation now qualifies for a charitable tax credit through the registered Canadian charity, the Democracy Fund. For Rebel News, here south of Hardisty, Alberta, at my very first motocross event of the season, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you've received a lockdown ticket, I don't want you to pay it, I want you to fight it. Plead not guilty and send it to us at FightTheFines.com. And if we think your case has merit, we'll put you in touch with a top criminal lawyer at no cost to you. And if you'd like to help people fight their lockdown tickets in court, well, I've got some great news for you. Because every donation to FightTheFines.com now qualifies for a charitable tax receipt through the registered Canadian charity, the Democracy Fund. So donate today at FightTheFines.com.